Adele's new album isn't even out yet, but pressing plants are hard at work to meet the skyrocketing demand.
It's like nothing is safe from the supply chain crisis. Your groceries, your kids' toys, and now your music.
When we started working on this episode, this was the last thing we had heard about the vinyl industry.
The pandemic has created this uneven mismatch with increased demand but decreased supply.
Super long backups, artists scrambling to get their records pressed, the whole industry just gasping for air.
We've been turning work down for like at least a solid 4 months now.
It looks like what we call in manufacturing an infinite bottleneck, infinite bottleneck, infinite bottleneck, infinite bottleneck, infinite bottleneck, infinite bottleneck.
That was the story we thought we were going to tell with this episode of Music Citizens.
We were so wrong. The vinyl industry responded to that demand, and it may have over-responded.
I literally drained my own life savings to get this plant off the ground. It almost killed me, honestly.
Yeah, the number of vinyl manufacturers has exploded. Technology is making the whole process way easier for manufacturers, and now there's a global player that has a plant in Nashville, and it seems is making an attempt to dominate the entire industry.
The industry probably won't have 200 manufacturers 10 years from now, because it's hard to survive. It's going to be hard for everybody to survive.
This is Music Citizens, a podcast about the people behind the scenes who make music work.
I'm your host, Jason Moon Wilkins.
And I am reporter Justin Barney. Episode 2 of Music Citizens is The Operator, the story of Piper Payne, founder and CEO of Physical Music Products. And as our story unfolds, we discover that the vinyl industry is at a profound inflection point, and no one has talked about that point until now. It is 8:13 a.m. in Smyrna. I think this is Piper right now, rolling in. Good morning, Piper.
How are you? Welcome to Physical Music Products.
She rolled up in this well-loved pickup truck and squeezed into one of 3 spaces that PMP has. Short hair, black t-shirt, black shorts, work boots, and is enthusiastic to see me.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
As soon as Piper rolls up, she hands me something.
I brought a book for you. I'll show you all about cutting and records and what they look like under the microscope.
Wow.
So there's grooves. Yeah, so this
That
is like our
is Piper.
little,
Like,
cutting
the
and
entire day that I spent with Piper, she's teaching, she's showing, she's doing.
You just started up the boiler, so we're gonna go check on it, make sure it's building pressure.
What is a boiler?
Oh, there's so much to tell
Sorry.
you. There's so much to tell you.
Physical Music Products makes records, which means at its most basic that they are using big old machines to squish different colors of vinyl, which is a plastic, into flat discs that we call records.
The mold will fill with steam and squeeze under pressure, hot pressure, the plastic.
Piper's got this ragtag team, and together they make small batches of records for indie artists like MF Doom, Slater Kinney, and Linda Perry. Piper has sacrificed a lot personally to make this plant happen.
Every single thing you see in this building, from every fleck of paint on the wall to every panel in the rebuilt ceiling in the press floor, to every patch of concrete to level the floor, I put in here. I literally drained my own life savings to get this plant off the ground. It almost killed me, honestly.
The thing that she is doing is she's running this very physical plant that makes an analog product on very old machines.
Come over here. Okay, remember, in a record plant, everything is hot and it's trying to burn you or knock you on the head or cut you or trip you. So just keep your head on a swivel.
Cool. Okay.
That's hot. I'll
That's
tell
hot.
you when you can touch stuff.
Okay.
Okay? because you never really know.
There's like a row of 8 machines that are machines. They're like what you imagine, like someone like sweating with a grease rag on is pulling these down. Not an email in sight.
So anyway, these presses over here, these are called Hamilton record presses. They're old, as you can see. All of our equipment is nothing in this building is brand new. Getting my grunts too.
Yeah. This one in particular has been really moody lately. I'm not sure why.
One of my favorite stories that was really Alex, one of her employees, told me was of this band, Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol. Are you familiar?
No.
Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol, band out of Austin, Texas.
They call themselves Doom Wop.
Doom Wop?
Doom Wop, which is it's like 1950s doo-wop.
Okay.
But in doom
Doomier?
metal, doomier, sludgier, metalier.
Right on.
And they were coming through Nashville, and they needed records, and they hit up Piper, and her and Alex like stayed up through the night printing records.
We'd press them, sleeve them, jacketed them, shrink wrap them, box them, and Piper put them in her truck and drove them over to the basement so that band could have their album release party. And she like literally dropped them off like as doors opened.
She came by in her truck and met us in the parking lot, which was really awesome.
Justin, I just want to jump in here for a second and give a little context as to why someone like Piper would invest all of this time, this money, her life into opening a vinyl plant in 2022.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Okay. So the vinyl industry started having its resurgence in the late aughts. That's a well-worn tale. Lots of reasons for this. Me personally, I think it had so much to do with the death of the CD, the rise of streaming, and this desire to still have music be in a physical form. And it coincided at the same time with the rise of farm-to-table food, with, artisanal hats. This appreciation for the handmade that really came in as we were trying to maybe move away from just strip mall culture here in the U.S. So there was this big steady growth in vinyl year over year, and there was only just a few dozen manufacturers in the entire world.
Record manufacturing is a very high fixed cost business. The ante is big. The cost of turning on a plant is high.
That's Mark Michaels, chairman and CEO of United Record Pressing.
They're the oldest and, until recently, the largest record pressing plant in the United States. They're based right here in Nashville, Tennessee. They are a financial supporter of WNXP, but they were not involved in the making of this episode besides letting us interview them.
When vinyl started making a comeback, URP was one of the only places that was ready for it. They were uniquely positioned to succeed. And then in 2017, 2018, the big box retailers started to stock vinyl. That was huge for them.
And when Target and Walmart goes to a major label and says, we're going to carry these 50 artists, and we're going to put them in 5,000 stores, and we always want to be stocked 10 deep, and if you're ever out of stock, the penalties are huge. While the labels respond with, don't just order 5,000 on a reorder, order 50,000 or 150,000, and you start to do that over and over again. And the pressure on the industry to respond to that was enormous.
In 2020, vinyl demand skyrockets. It's COVID. I bought every Serge Gainsbourg album that exists. There was nothing else to spend money on. Everyone's buying vinyl. The demand is exploding.
Mark Michaels, United Record Pressing, they are deep in it.
If we were having this conversation 4 years ago, and you say, what keeps you up at night? What are the biggest issues? Our backlog was probably 18 months, maybe more, right? There was plenty of work. And
plenty of money. In 2021, vinyl revenue hit $1 billion. And so immediately after that,
lots of plants popped up and big plants expanded. We did too.
Mm-hmm.
The industry responded by expanding capacity like crazy.
And it's hard to overstate just how much the industry changed. 10 years ago, there were 32 vinyl manufacturers in the world. Now there are over 200. One of those places that opened up was Physical Music Products, Piper Payne. Another was Vinyl Lab, who's also located right here in Tennessee.
Yeah, and that's why, right? That Piper was just putting everything into this and getting up as quickly as possible because there was that massive demand.
Yeah, and so we had increased competition. That was one of the big changes in the vinyl industry. But there were also two more massive changes.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
The first one is new machines. You know how Piper, those machines are like a factory?
Yeah.
Factory?
I remember those type of machines. Like back in the 90s, I was in this band and we wanted to make a 45. We wanted to make a single. And so we went to United Record Pressing.
Yeah.
And we were surrounded by these literal presses coming down, and the wax and the vinyl is shooting out the side. The person's trying to describe what's going on, but you can't hear them. It was overwhelming, but in this great way. Like, This is what the industrial age must have smelt and felt like.
Yeah, and I saw those machines at United Record Pressing, but also they have upgraded all of them in the past couple of years.
This process used to look like? Follow me over here.
Cam Sarrett, Director of Sales and Marketing at United Record Pressing.
So these are the new machines?
Yeah.
They are so much cleaner.
Yes, and safer. I mean, they're all enclosed in like a glass box. Like, you'd have to really go out of your way to lose a finger. It's a glorified iPad that like controls these things, you know? It's pretty crazy.
When I went to URP and did that tour, and I was like, what about the bottlenecks? What's your turnaround time? Thinking that they were going to be like 14 weeks, 16 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? No waiting time. He's like, all that's done.
At this point, that's just not a thing. Like, you could have a record pressed and then in a box in a day, theoretically. A lot of what's been done in the past year is optimizing our process to bring it, up into the Domino's pizza tracker age.
The other vinyl manufacturer in town that is closest to Piper is the Vinyl Lab. I went there, talked to them too. They have two of those brand new machines, and they are like those iPads. They're manufacturing a lot of albums in a day. They do it very quickly.
Look, the romantic in me, there's something a little sad about that.
I hear you.
Because, we live with a lot of false narratives, and one of them is this is handmade to a certain extent, right? I'm purchasing a physical product in a digital world.
And Piper is the only one doing that. Yeah. She's the only one making the physical product in a physical way, at least in Nashville.
So Justin, you've talked about how these new machines and their efficiency have really helped release this bottleneck narrative that we went into this whole episode thinking about. But you also said there was something else.
Yeah, that other something is a corporation from the Czech Republic called GZ Media, a company that I had never heard of before starting this story.
It's a very, very large operation. It's south of Prague, and it's enormous.
Like how massive is it?
I'll say this, they have roads.
They're a company that now owns plants in Memphis and Nashville. And every other manufacturer in town brought them up as an existential threat.
If GZ builds more places, it'll have an effect on all of us.
They're a large, aggressive competitor.
That's what makes it hard for a plant like ours to stay afloat and in business.
And so I was like, I need to talk to GZ. And somebody picked up.
Every weekday, you can hear the best on offer from Nashville Public Radio in podcast form. It's the latest reporting from WPLN News.
Only allowed the American flag in the
music discovery features from WNXP.
I'm Marquis Munson here with another edition.
And it's about connecting the dots. Not just what's new, but how did we get here? What's it really all about? I'm Nina Cardona, and I'm your host for the Nash Villager podcast at WPLN.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you for listening to Nashville's NPR music station, 91.1 WNXP. Become a listener member by giving now at whatever level makes sense to you over at WNXP.org. You'll also find some sweet thank you gifts and loads of content reminding you why you want to support this nonprofit music discovery service. We appreciate you.
Thank you for calling Nashville Record Pressing. Please listen to the following options. To reach an employee, press 1.
Nashville Record Pressing, despite the name, is a company that is fully owned by GZ Media in the Czech Republic. When they opened 2 years ago, there was a lot of press on the opening, jobs being created, money being spent. But since then, there's been very little. And I found out why. They're very hard to reach.
What did you say your name was again?
My name is Justin, Justin. Last name is Barney, like the dinosaur.
Okay. And then this is a good contact number for you?
They started in the 1950s in the Czech Republic, and they have just been growing and growing since. They were already the largest manufacturer of records in the world, and then they expanded. One of their competitors was a manufacturer in Canada. GZ bought them. There was a small indie press in Memphis called Memphis Record Pressing. GZ bought them. And last year, they opened up a brand new subsidiary called Nashville Record Pressing. And everyone in Nashville I talked to said that they were afraid of this company monopolizing the record industry and putting a lot of presses out of business.
So right now I'm going through security.
They finally agreed to let me visit. They have a brand new facility in North Nashville. It's this high security building, concertina wire on top of chain link fence, where all the rest were just like, just walk up and go in.
Hello?
Morning, welcome to Nashville Record Pressing. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Justin Barney, and I'm here for a tour of the plant.
All right, go on in.
Thank you.
It reminds me so much of the difference between going to New York for the first time in the music business and meeting with some independent labels. We're like in a room. Like literally knock on the door and they're hanging out, and then going to, I think it was, Sony, I believe it was my first one, 2-3 levels of security, very intense elevators.
Yeah. And this was very much the big label experience. Once I got through security, they brought me into this boardroom, and they had the CEO of Nashville Record Pressing, Drake Coker, was sitting at the end of a long and empty table.
How are you, Justin?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Great.
Let's do this because we're always looking for great content too. Why don't we record this as well? Right? Just grab a voice memo.
When was the plant here announced?
Oh, you want some sound bites on our timeline of coming to life?
Yeah.
I can do that pretty easily. This is a 100,000 square foot facility. We actually started construction and started work on the project on March 1st, 2022. And by the time we got to December, we had grown the company from nothing to about 175 people, running 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, making 60,000 records a day. That's how we came to life.
Looking at the numbers, I mean, it is staggering. Piper produces under 1 million records a year. United Record Pressing, oldest record pressing in the United States, makes under 10 million. GZ Media can print 144 million records a year.
How many records can you make in a shift here?
A lot.
Every single place I went to, they all kind of like bragged about how much they do in-house, because that's where cost starts to add up.
Yeah.
You know? And there were people that were like, I don't know how GZ makes it so cheap. I don't know how they undercut us all the time.
We make our own compound, both in Europe and here in North America.
They make the vinyl. They make the compound that ends up being the record.
We do our own mastering. We do our own plating. We do our own pressing. We actually have full print operations, so we can print on board and paper. We do full fabrication of sleeves and jackets. One of the beautiful things about being part of the GZ group is that GZ Media in the Czech Republic has been making their own presses for almost a decade.
They make their own machines.
In our case, we have an internal supply of presses, which allows us to scale very, very quickly.
They control the entire means of production.
Which means they can make records faster, cheaper than anybody else.
Yeah, and I think for a long time, GZ just produced the major labels. You have 3 major labels. They're doing an amount of records that Piper could never do. And so I thought that going small was Piper's competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Piper will do a run of 100 records. And I talked to Drake. He's like, we'll do 100 records.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very, very well built out, it's very cool, aggressive indie program for small runs, where we've got package pricing that's rather competitive.
How much would 100 records cost?
Right now, we'll do 100 records for $1,300. It's a good deal. If you can beat it, take it.
Was Drake aware of the narrative out there in the industry about GZ?
Well aware. He's a smart guy. He's CEO of a company.
Oh, I get it. It makes sense, right? Like it's frightening to have really motivated, capable, active competitors, right? And that's the point. Like, why do something if you're not going to be great at it? Why endeavor to do something if you're not like making an effort to be the best and the biggest and the strongest and, with the broadest reach and the most profitable and all those things, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a very natural and human reaction to be facing real competition, maybe for the first time in a long time, and be a bit nervous.
And what would you say to like the little presses that feel like they're going to be put out of business?
I would encourage them to just really focus on doing the best job they can for their customers.
There's a part where I'm like, I get it, GZ Media. At the end of the day, like, they are not making art. They are making a product. We're in a capitalistic system, and the cheapest thing happens by something that is made most efficiently.
I hear you, and I think that I very much appreciate anybody who comes here, spends money here, creates jobs here.
Yeah.
But if what you're doing and what you're creating ultimately leads to a bunch of other legacy and independence and all that going out of business and those people losing their jobs, is that a net positive?
Mm-hmm. There's this one thing that Drake Coker said at the end of the conversation that I just keep thinking about.
Sometimes there's this idea that big is bad, that it's inhuman, right? And I just don't know how accurate that is. I think oftentimes organizations that are big because they're really capable. They're good and they're strong and they take great care of their customers, right? That's not bad. That's what we want, right? That's what customers want, right? And there's a piece of business that I think is emblematic of like what goes on in nature. I mean, inside a particular species, there's individuals that survive and individuals that don't, right? And those individuals that are capable, right, and smart, right, and really focused tend to do better. And they end to then not only drive innovation, right, but expand their species in a way that enables their species to become stronger and stronger, right? This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing.
This idea of using survival of the fittest in the world of art as justification for consolidation, for more corporatization. Well, we can look at this year as an example. In the music industry, record labels, record companies had massive cuts. And we have seen from our perch here as a radio station really cool artists who are signed to label X. Then all of a sudden they have literally no one marketing them, doing promotions for them, no one to contact. They've made that many cuts. Mm-hmm. And how does that ultimately serve that artist or the audience? Now, we don't know what's going to happen with the vinyl industry and what impact consolidation could have But my concern comes from seeing the way it's impacted lots of other parts of music.
I do want to just bring some numbers in here.
Yeah.
Demand has gone up by 6% year after year. Sometimes numbers say more, sometimes they say less. But it's like there will be a point where we have outpaced demand. And Mark Michaels said that.
The industry probably won't have 200 manufacturers 10 years from now, because it's hard to survive. It's going to be hard for everybody to survive.
But at the same time, with the vinyl industry, ultimately, most of the people buying records are going to be concerned with one thing, and that is how much money are they paying for that vinyl record.
I've been to a record store in the past 2 years. The cost of a record has not stayed the same. It's not gone down. Prices in vinyl have risen, just like everything else.
Where does that leave an independent vinyl manufacturer like Piper? Now, and what does her future look like?
Yeah. So after I did all this reporting and talked to GZ, I called up Piper Payne and I asked her.
That's the thing. So no one can compete on price with GZ.
So how do you compete?
I make a nice product and I have better customer service and I have people that are competent and care about what they're doing. And I'm not, so sure of myself that that they can't put me out of business somehow, but I refuse to exist in a world that I see them as a competitor.
Hi, can I ask you some questions?
Let's do it.
That is Linda Perry, lead singer of Four Non Blondes. You know the song.
And I talked to her in the basement of Regal Cinema, Green Hills, on the red carpet of Nashville Film Festival.
Unbelievable.
They were producing a documentary about her. I didn't really know that it was a red carpet event, but there it was in shorts on the red carpet, talking to Linda Perry about Piper Payne.
And there's a million different places that you can get your records pressed, and there are big places that will do it for cheaper. Why go to Piper?
Well, do you play music?
No.
Okay, so when you write, I wrote a song in my bedroom, and then I make a band play it with me, and they have to have heart. Then I take that and I go record it, and it has to have heart, right? And then whoever mixes it has to have the same love and heart. So why? It's not because she's the best. Doesn't mean she has the best equipment, but she is full of heart. And to me, I want anything that I do to be sealed with that.
So an artist can choose going to GZ, they can choose going to Vinyl Lab, they can choose going to United Record Pressing, they can choose going to Piper. She's doing things kind of imperfectly, but she's doing them in the way that a human does them. She's getting inside the machine. You make an order, she is calling you and she's talking to you. She will drive the records to your gig. I think that she, like many independents, you find your niche. That is how independents survive in corporatization.
Music Citizens is a project of WNXP and Nashville Public Radio. We want to thank the 4 vinyl record manufacturers in Nashville who participated in this episode.
Physical Music Products, led by Piper Payne.
It's like fire and brimstone just to make a record, and that's not even counting the steam boiler and the pressing part, right?
Nashville Record Pressing, led by Drake Coker.
Our ultimate goal is we want to become the best vinyl pressing plant in the world, right?
The Vinyl Lab, led by Scott LeMasters.
We have an open door policy, so we allow artists to be part of every process.
And United Record Pressing, led by Mark Michaels.
I thought I was just making records. Now I'm in the middle of all this, microeconomic competitive dynamics.
May you all make records forever. Thank you to the many other voices in this episode who offered insight, like Alex Barnes from PMP, Cam Sarrett from URP, Cortland Immel from NRP,
Dustin Locker, president of the Vinyl Manufacturing Association, Leo Lydon from Rickshaw, Billies, Burger Patrol, and Linda Perry as herself.
If you're in here, this game, then play it the right way.
Throughout the episode, you heard some very short clips from MF Doom, Slater Kinney, Progress 2, Serge Gainsbourg,
Aucun Boeing sur mon transit,
and Four Non-Blondes.
Scoring by Jay Ragsdale,
Blue Dot Sessions,
Michael Pollard,
and Pujo.
Mixing and mastering by our good friend Michael Pollard.
Music Citizens was created by this man, Jason Moon Wilkins,
and was thoroughly and dutifully reported by this guy right here, Justin Barney.
This episode could not have been made without producer and editor Emily Seiner. Thank you, Emily.
Yes, thank you, Emily. Thanks to the ears and ideas of our fellow Nashville Public Radio colleagues, Tony Gonzalez, Julie Hight, Rachel Iacovone, Marquis Munson, LaTonya Turner, Meribah, and Jesse Strauss.
WNXP social and photos and landing page help from Carly Butler.
Music Citizens artwork was created by Stephanie O'Byrne.
And this would not have happened without institutional support from the National Endowment for the Arts, Tennessee Arts Commission, Metro Arts Thrive, and First Horizon Foundation.
Big thanks to everyone at WNXP and Nashville Public Radio, including our excellent board and CEO, Steve Swenson.
Listen to more great music stories at WNXP.org.
All right. And that's it.